everybody, Charlie Stevens here. Thank you so much for tuning into another guitar lesson video. So we're going to learn some really important chords today. E chords. Okay, so in the intro there I was playing E minor, but I also played E major. Okay, so these are two very important chords, very easy, good ones for beginners, I think. Now that we've learned all 6 strings, we can learn chords that start on the 6th string, the E string, right? So that's what these ones are, E chords. So E minor is a very simple shape. We have an open E, and we have a lot of open strings in the chord, which is nice. That's what makes it a nice, easy shape. We have open E. We also have a B note, which we're going to play here on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and we have an E note that we're going to play on the 2nd fret of the D string. So this is a popular way to play it amongst beginners, to use these 2 fingers right here. So that might be good for you if you're new to this and you want to try these 2 fingers. That could be good. It's good to get to certain chords from here, like C. If you know C, and then now this finger gets to stay on there. The 2nd fret of the D string is in the C chord, and it's also in the E minor chord. So if you play your E minor like this, I don't have to move that finger. I can leave this 2nd finger down, let go of the rest of the C chord. Now I take this 1st finger and I put it on the 2nd fret of the A string, and I have an E minor. So that's a time where it would probably be a good idea to play an E minor using fingers 1 and 2, the index in the middle. However, I usually prefer to play E minor like this. So this is another option of how to play it that I would recommend, and I'll show you why in a minute here. So now I'm using the 2 fingers in the middle of my hand, the 2nd and the 3rd finger. 2nd finger is going to play the 2nd fret of the 5th string. 3rd finger is going to play the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Very cool chord. Suits the E minor pentatonic that we learned very well. Okay, cool. So let me explain why I like these fingerings instead. It's because these fingerings are very close to E major. So in order to make an E minor into an E major chord, I actually just need to change 1 note. Okay, so E has the 3rd note, is always the difference between the major and minor. You always count alphabetically, and the letter that's 3 letters away is always going to be the thing that is different between a major and a minor chord. So in the case of E, E, F, G, that's going to be a G. Okay, so we have an open G right here. I'm playing that one. Okay. So there's also a different type of G though, G sharp, right? That's actually what we need for an E major. If we were to play an E major chord, it actually has a G sharp in it instead, okay? And we can talk about triad construction and learn about that to understand why. But just for practical purposes, that's the difference between E minor and E major. You have an open G in E minor, and you have to play G sharp, so that means your 1st finger needs to go right down here to the 1st fret to play E major. So that's why I don't really prefer this way of E minor, because if I need E major, I have to kind of put these fingers down here anyway and then add this one, whereas if they're... So I just play E minor like that for consistency, usually. But sometimes I will play it like this. So your preference, you're allowed to choose which one you like. But this one is good because it's a heartbeat away from E minor. You keep the shape in your mind as being the same thing, and you just put that finger down and you got it. Now, this is E major here. And what shape does that look like? Actually looks just like A minor, huh? Isn't that cool? It's the same shape. Over here, we have difference in our strings. Okay, so all of our strings are tuned to an interval called a perfect fourth until we get to these two. Those ones are tuned to a major third, and these ones are back to a perfect fourth. Okay, so if you're familiar with what those terms mean, that's fine. But basically, we have a difference. Okay, we have a difference, and that adjusts everything by one fret, and it makes everything off by a fret. So that means that where this shape is minor, this shape is major, because that difference of one note happens on a certain string that creates a difference in the third, right? Because the difference between a major and minor third is only one note. So since we have that difference here, that's what we got. So yeah, very interesting that they're the same shape, huh? E major, A minor. We just move them over. So we have open A, and then the shape on those strings, or we have open E, and then the shape starting here. Or take it off, E minor. So E major hopefully is already sort of familiar to you too if you're familiar with the A minor already. Okay, so let's review these two chords. So first E minor, open E, second finger, second fret of A, third finger, second fret of D, open G, open B, open E. That's E minor. Pairs nicely with E minor pentatonic. Okay, E major, open E, second finger, second fret of the fifth string, third finger, second fret of the fourth string, first finger, first fret of the third string, creating a G sharp, open B, open E. Also pairs great with E minor pentatonic. That's why that's a great scale. Pairs great with the minor and the major version, actually. Sounds really cool. Okay, so that's it. You can also play with both these chords at the same time by hammering on the G sharp, major to minor. Okay, lots of different things you can try, but for now just memorize these shapes. These are probably the most important ones. E minor, E major, A minor, and A major, all shapes we've learned, those really provide the main basis for bar chord shapes that are movable around the neck, okay? So this is really a very important place to start to being able to play any chord you want. So definitely pay attention to these shapes, get them burned in your memory, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Thank you so much for watching.